Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
We just recorded a video about bandwidth capping from ISPs. Some people are still facing that, and I'm sure you have opinions about it and you've left it in the other comment thread. But right now I've got a top 5 list of things to look for in an ISP submitted by Lundberry. And he's got, I think, a couple of really good lists here. And like I say a couple because he's got 2 top 5 lists. And it starts out with, "Hey Chris, I've watched you fighting with the internet for the last few days, and I decided to make a top 5 things you need to take into consideration when selecting an ISP, assuming you've got a choice. Number 5, what's their reliability in your area? While this might seem obvious to ask, you'd be amazed at how many people will go with an unreliable ISP because they are cheap. Is your time worth more than a few extra dollars a month to have the confidence that when you go online, you'll actually get to where it is that you want to go to? Sometimes you get what you pay for, and no doubt about it, I would pay just about anything just to get a stable connection to the internet. I'd pay almost anything to have any other ISP that deliver speeds that when they actually deliver them are good. Number 4, what's the cost going to be? Is the cost to add a little extra speed and confidence that it'll work reasonable? And how does that compare to the competition, if there is competition? 3, do you get what you pay for? When you pay for a 5 megabit connection, do you actually get 5 megabit or do you get 2? These things will have an effect on how you feel about your investment in the internet or the internet connection. You're never actually going to own the internet. You need to ask yourself, if you're using cable, how many other cable customers are around there and how will that affect your connection speeds? Very true. 2, what do you need? Do you really need a 20 megabit connection to do flicker a couple times a week? I'm surprised at how many people will upgrade to a super fast connection for no reason. You can use that extra money you save to get better hardware, which will help you get just as much speed as you would get if you were just upgrading the internet connection. That's true. If you're just an average web surfer, you don't need to pay an arm and a leg just to, pull up a website just a little quicker. But, if you're someone like me, well, you're definitely going to pay an arm and a leg. Number 1, is it Comcast? Now, this one's pretty self-explanatory. Though for me, Charter is my Comcast. Ooh, that's bad. That's bad. He's saying Charter is his Comcast. Do you understand? That's bad. He's using the word almost like saying Comcastic in a negative connotation. It's like, but I still get raked over the coals in terms of various different things that are done to me. For instance, the fact that I pay for 5 megabit internet and average about 1. Or the fact that no matter what modem I use, I can never get a consistent connection to the service. I don't even get an IP address, a static IP address from my ISP. And then he notes in this second top 5, he says, don't fall for marketing. Commercials and trends are not the things you want to take into consideration when you're choosing an ISP. True. Although I will tell you, Comcast does have pretty creative commercials and their music jingles are really catchy. 2, always read very carefully what, and I'm not kidding, that I do happen to like their commercials. It's sad. Always read carefully what you're signing for. I don't know if it applies in the States, but in Europe, many customers have fallen for the up to X megabyte thing. That means that your net speed can reach that point, but most likely won't. So many people end up paying more for something that they could have purchased for less elsewhere. 3, take the time needed to do research on how user-friendly the ISP is. I was trying to contact an ISP for like 4 hours through their emergency line, and no one would answer the call. Trust me, when I say that should be ranked as one of the most important things you should be looking for in an ISP. 4, never trust a company just because it offers great speeds at low prices. What you want is to take advantage of the know-how of these old-time classic ISPs and not having to put up with the numerous problems a new company will certainly face. If, despite that you can't resist those low costs, take the time and see what people who are already customers have to say about that specific ISP. Cost should certainly not be the only thing to take into account when choosing an ISP. Last but not least, always read the small letters. When I dropped my old plan, I got a notice that the router they had provided me with should be returned within a week or I'd have to pay a 300 euros fee. The thing that I was leaving for Greece the next day, so I had to change both mine and my girlfriend's plane tickets, would have cost 420 euros more than what we already paid. Anyway, that's all. And actually, let me back up. The first set of 5 tips was submitted by Lundberry. The second 5 was submitted by someone named Azaz. And I lumped them together on the same page. So sorry about that. I think they're good tips, good guidelines, especially if you have not found a provider yet and you do have a choice. Certainly, customer feedback is a good way to get the ball rolling before the ball starts rolling. No matter if anybody has any tips for dealing with one's ISP, especially in times of trouble, feel free to scoot them over. My email address is chris@pirillo.com, and I'm sure you can leave a video response or a follow-up post. Doesn't matter. Just share the information. Share what you got up here. May help someone else out there. You never really know. Oh, you want 100 up and down? Yeah, Mike, you and me both. No doubt. God, oh, what would I give? What would I give? Is Ponzi listening right now? Ponzi?
I get almost 30 down and about 3 up.
Shut up.
What? I have you turned really low. What?
Oh, nothing. I was just checking. We're fine. Okay,
What'd you say?
Nothing. I didn't say anything. I was just going to say what I would trade for the better internet connection. That's all. Never mind. If anybody else out there,
Did I remind you about the 37%?
that's how much of my life I've lost since going with Comcast. Yeah, it's kind of sad. She opened up a spreadsheet and did the calculations. It was kind of scary when it came down to it. Anyway, feel free to stop by the website is what I was about to say, because we're streaming live video out, so if you've got a good broadband connection, feel free to stop by, say hello, and of course you're also welcome to, answer questions, ask questions, just, be a good person to hang out with, generally speaking, in our chat room. The video that you're watching right now has been recorded, but it was recorded live in front of a virtual studio audience of about 600 people, and we're pretty much waiting for you to show up, because we're streaming this live video out over the net 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.